Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stampin' Piece with Mary Nabe. Another great busy day in my Stampin' Piece studio, but I'm happy that I can come to you with this Facebook Live on today, March, 27th? Gosh, just a few more days left in our month. Sure has gone by fast. We have a great card, or I have a great card for you today. I'm going to show you how to make a window card as well as a frame using nested dies. And I think you're going to love what you see, and it's a card that's easily adapted to any kind of nested dies and lots of other stamp sets in addition to the one I'm showing you today. Before we get started, please check out my blog, stampinpiece.com, today for information on a wonderful class, Sentimental Park. Features a Sentimental Park bundle with the Regency Park Designer Series paper. Great spring colors and great cards for so many occasions. And be watching out for my next online Zoom class. It will feature the Enjoy the Adventure, Memories and More card pack and envelopes. We'll be making 20 cards in 2 hours, and you are going to love it. It's a great way to build up your stash, and I'm excited to get that posted probably in the next day, so be watching for that as well. Today I'm featuring the Queen Bee stamp set with its amazing dies, as well as some dies from the Stylish Shapes dies collection. So I'm going to flip my camera around right now so I can get started showing you today's fabulous card. While I'm doing that, please invite other people to join us during this Facebook Live. Okay, so here is today's card. It's kind of a fun, shabby chic look to it, but I'm going to be showing you how to use nested dies, in this case the stitch squares, to make a peekaboo card, or some people call it a window card, as well as how to make these beautiful frames to accent various parts of your cards and paper crafts. So I'm starting with a piece of very vanilla. Don't use this color quite as much as I do the basic white, but I still love it. And I thought this with black and gold would make a nice color combination for this card. So the first thing I'm going to do, and for this, I have 2 of the square stitched shaped dies, all right? I'm going to use the smallest one first to make a window on the front of my card base, and I am using the very vanilla thick cardstock for this. And let me put just another little piece on here just to hold that in place to make sure I get it exactly where I want it. So this will be my card front. Oops, it's not holding on very well, is it? Let me try that again, because I need to use my bigger pieces here. And I'm just trying to make it kind of even on the top, bottom, and right sides. Okay, I think that's better. And when I put this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, I'm not going to roll the cardstock all the way through because I don't want any of those marks, worn marks from my cutting plate getting on the smooth part. So I am going to pull this kind of towards the end of my sandwich, my platforms. And I'm also, this shifted on me just a bit, I'm also turning this at an angle because you know we get the best cuts on straight edges when we turn them at an angle. Otherwise, if they're exactly parallel to the rollers in our machine, makes the machine jump quite a bit, or a little bit, I should say, and may or may not make a nice clean cut. And then I'm just ready to pull this out. And I've got this nice window for my card front. And you can see this would be something I could use in both a vertical and a horizontal position. You could put the window any place that you feel is going to work best for the card that you're making. The next thing I'm going to do is take the next larger size die and I'm going to nest it with the one I just used. Now, when you want a frame to go around, let me pull some of these off. When you want a frame to go around the window you just made, you're always going to have that starting die in the center and the next largest size nested with it. So again, I use that smaller die. And now I'm layering the larger one behind it. And this washi tape is going to hold those in place so that we don't get a wonky looking frame. It should be the same size all the way through. Now this largest die is approximately 3 by 3. So I've cut a piece of brushed metallic paper, just a wee bit larger. In fact, I should show you this because this is so pretty. Does anybody have this? It's called the Brushed Metallics specialty paper. And I'm using this lighter shade. It's sort of a, probably a little darker than a champagne color, but that's what I'm calling it. Then there's a nice bright color and then more of a copper color. But they all have that brushed look about them. So really great paper. They come in a package with all 3 of the different colors. And now I want to cut out my frame. Again, I have it at an angle, correct? So I'm not putting it through exactly parallel. I don't want my machine to jump. I just want it to roll through there nicely, giving me a nice cut. And then I'm just going to take everything apart. So here's the outer, kind of my throwaway part here. Here's that frame. And then I also have left this nice piece of brushed metallic gold that I think I am going to use on this card, which will be a little bit variation on what I did with my sample, which I'll show you at the end. So the next thing I'm going to do is adhere my frame to my card front. This is a great time to pull out your silicone mat, because if you, and open up your card base too, because if you open it or close it and put the glue on and it smears, it's going to end up having smeared glue on the inside of your card. And of course we don't want that. Then I'm just going to lay this on top. The inside of my gold square should match right up with the window that was cut from the Very Vanilla cardstock. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now the other thing I'm going to do, which I said will be a variation from from my sample card, is I'm going to use the square that we cut away. So to do that, and I think I'm going to use my seal adhesive. I'm just going to tuck this with the card closed, tuck it inside that window. And this is what I have, okay? So I'm putting that to use. Now it's time for me to do some stamping and die cutting. I will be stamping with my black Memento ink. And where's all my scrap paper here? I'm going to stamp this big, beautiful bumblebee. Make sure I have plenty of ink on there. That looks good. A little more for extra measure. Now, one thing I want to mention to you before we go on, you may be thinking, oh, Mary, that body of the bumblebee doesn't look real dark. But guess what? It's not supposed to. Do you see on the actual stamp that it's not completely solid? Can you see that? You can even tell by looking, by looking at the front cover of the stamp set. So the way this stamped is exactly the way it's intended to be. All right. Kind of gives it more of a little vintage feel, maybe a little more decorative feel. But I just wanted you to know, to not get frustrated, because that really is the intended way for it to be stamped. I'm also going to be stamping the word happy and the word birthday. I'm spacing them out because we will be die cutting them with one of the dies in our set. I've got all kinds of things going on here for you. You know what? We are going to, let me think about this. No, we're not going to stamp that little bee just yet. So I'm bringing that back in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I'm going to cut out the bumblebee. I'm going to cut out several things, so I am going to use some washi tape today. And I've got this die to cut out the words. And we're going to use the same die to cut out both words. So we'll do this first one. And then I've got some small, let me get it here, some small flower dies. This not only cuts out the flower shape, but it leaves that embossed impression of details on the flowers as well. The other thing I'm going to do at the same time is die cut some leaves. And I think we're ready to go. I'm going to turn this a little bit because I don't want that straight line of the label die to go in parallel to the rollers. I want to slant it. So Tony, it sounds like you really like the metallic foils. Oftentimes people don't buy them because they are a little more expensive, but I am typically using those foils as accent pieces, so I don't necessarily use a whole lot in any one card. See how pretty that flower is with the embossed details? And I want to cut one more small flower just in case I decide to use that. There's my word happy. Here's my pretty queen bee. Love the details on that. And I'm going to move this to cut out the word birthday. Trying to get that as straight and centered in my die as possible. How many of you like to use the washi tape when you are die cutting? It can be very helpful. Gives us a little extra security. Oh, Marcia, you brought a guest to watch with you today. Oops, I didn't go all the way through with that little flower, so let me run that through again. My leaf looks good. Guess I stopped rolling too soon. Jenny says, yes, washi tape. We all need a little help at times, don't we? Okay, and I want to put these dies away before they go missing. If you have a little metallic dish to put them on or a metallic sheet, this is what mine is. And I actually found it in the sewing department at Hobby Lobby. What does it say? Create what you love. But it was in the sewing department at Hobby Lobby, intended for pins, most likely. You can also get the metal, like this one. This is something that would come from, what's the freight place called? Hardware freight, something like that. But they're intended to put like screws and nuts and bolts in, and really strong magnet on that. All right, I think we're finished with our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So let's put our card together now. What I'm doing now is what I consider to be the most fun part of this card. And you will see in a moment why I think that. I'm just putting some small dimensionals right in the center of the bee's body. We should be calling her the Queen Bee. That's the name of the stamp set. Put it right there, trying to center it nicely. Notice that the wings are kind of holding this closed, which is sort of fun. The next thing I'm going to do is add the words. And I have to admit, when I was putting the words on like this, it was a little bit out of my comfort zone because I don't typically stamp two different words and die cut them separately. But that's the die that comes with the Queen Bee set, and I thought, I'm working with what I have and going to figure out a creative way to do this. And I think I'm very happy with the results. So I'm putting birthday right here. It does overlap with the frame a little bit. And then the happy, I'm offsetting it to the left, and it's overlapping that birthday label just a bit. And to balance it all out and make it look even more decorative, whoops, I'm going to add some of these other features. Actually, I think I want to put the big flower on first before the leaf. Stick it right there. I'm going to use just a tad bit of my multi-purpose glue. You don't even need to put it on every leaf. Just a couple. As somebody said the other day, a dab will do ya. Just a couple drops. I think doing this also ties everything together. And now I'm going to adhere two of the small flowers. Again, they have that same beautiful embossed detail. Can you see that? There we go. And this set of leaves is going to be too big for what I want. So I'm just going to snip off the bottom part and use just the top 3 leaves. Never be afraid to trim down some of your die cuts. If they aren't fitting quite right, see if you can trim them down and work with that new size. I'm just going to tuck this in this corner behind the small flowers. Now, to make those flowers pop even more, I need a bit of bling or embellishment. And I decided I would pull out the what are they? I know the name on the packaging is wrong. I think they're called Festive Pearls. They say red and green adhesive back, but they're really called Festive Pearls. And these did, I believe, carry over from our July to December catalog. So you may not see them in the current mini or the annual catalog, but you can look them up online. They come in 4 colors: gold, silver, soft succulent, and a red. Really pretty. And those, again, are called Festive Pearls if you're looking for them online. So here is the finished card. Just kind of elegant, right? Not a what I would think of as a typical spring Harbor Freight, Marcia. I just caught that. Harbor Freight. That's exactly it. Yep. And those are really inexpensive. It's not, you know, I think of spring colors, summer colors this time of year, but when I saw what the pretty details are of the stamp set, this bundle, I thought I'm going to go with something kind of classic and elegant today. And I love how it turned out. Now I do want to show you what my sample looks like. The only thing different between my sample card and the one I made for you is that I did not use the square I punched out when I was making the frame. So here's the two cards side by side. Both beautiful, both elegant, but just a slight variation. And I love how that the wings of the queen bee hold the card closed, and then you open it up and you get that beautiful queen bee inside. You still have room on the side to write a simple message to your friend or loved one, whoever you're sending it to. I think it would be a great thinking of you card. It could even be a sympathy card or a just because, B-E-E, cause card. So I hope you really like it. I hope you love it as much as I do. Keep in mind, you learned 2 techniques with this card. You learned how to make a window card, and you also learned how to cut a frame from your nested dies. And keep in mind that this can work with any of your nested dies, any shape. The squares, circles, rectangles, what else? In the past, we've had triangles. You might have some of those in your stock. Anything where they are nested. And the 2 sizes or the 2 dies that you're nesting don't necessarily have to be the same shape. That's most often what I go to, but honestly, it really doesn't have to be that way. If I cut a circle and then used one of my frames, let me see if I can pull this out real quick. I could have used done something like this, where I cut my window with a circle and then used the circle die and a square die to make the frame. Or I could have used 2 circles. So it's a fun way to mix and match with your shape dies. I hope that you will give it a try. Let me see hands up. Who's going to give it a try? Hi there, Vicki Lynch from Australia. I believe when Vicki's watching from Australia, she's a day ahead of us, right? Okay, I'm going to be giving this card away and look at all the other things. So you'll want to come back on Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, because I will be showing more cards using this wonderful bundle. Okay. It won't be, you know, the same techniques, but we're going to be using a lot of the stamps and other dies in here. And I think you'll really enjoy the cards I have for you. So I hope you'll join me again here on Stampin' Peace with Mary Nabe at 8 p.m. this Wednesday Eastern Time. All right. Oh, Claudia's got her hand up. Yes. Okay. All right. If you would like to be, I lost my train of thought. If you would like to have your name entered into the drawing to possibly receive this card, please type in the comments now, Queen Bee, Queen Bee. And as you're doing that, I want to give you a couple of reminders. You can find information on my Sentimental Park class to go on my blog, stampinpeace.com. Stampinpeace.com is kind of my hub for everything that's happening from the Stampin' Piece studio. So look for that there. Also a reminder that the retiring list, last chance list, will come out at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on Wednesday, March 29th. I will try to get online soon after that, so it'd be 3 p.m. my time, Eastern time. But I will try to get on with a Facebook Live a little later in the day, if not Thursday morning, to go through the catalogs with you, walk through the catalogs, and we will mark the things that are retiring, perhaps the things that are carried over, etc. Also keep in mind, once that last chance list is out, you can purchase anything there, but if any of the items are discounted, the discounted price does not start till April 4th. There will be things that sell out, especially colors that are retiring. So that'll be Wednesday, Lori. None of the demonstrators will have the list until 1 p.m. Mountain Time. All right. So soon after that, I will try to go live with you. Also, if you have colors that you love, I highly suggest you purchase the ink pads, refills, especially if you have the ink pad. If it's one that's retiring, grab that refill. Do it before it even goes to the last chance list, because you'll be disappointed if you can't get it later. It happens every single year. Some, if not most, of the refills for retiring colors sell out very, very, very quickly, as do cardstock, Stampin' blends, embellishments, ribbons in those colors, etc. We'll also be seeing what new colors are coming, which is very exciting to me. I'm always, sometimes I'm sad to see something go, but then I always remember what something fabulous is going to be taking its place. Oh, Lori, Kathy, you've got a gold foil DSP to use up. So this is one way you can do that. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Thank you for joining me. And I hope to see you again real soon. Happy stamping.